And we are recording. I spank pretty girls here making a video. What an interesting name to have, making a video like this one. But the impetus for this video was a conversation I had with a new female friend who's in a pretty fragile state right now. And I was like, I understand your problem, being who I am and the kind of things I'm into. And matter of fact, the whole purpose of this channel is not necessarily geared towards women, but towards men who are playing with dominant submission, and I guess domestic discipline in many different ways, and the values and the valuable things that can come from that. But anyway, the title of this video, which I haven't made yet, guys, I'm basically freestyling after having had a conversation, but it's going to be how predatory men know how to find empath victims. And one thing I've noticed about empath women is that they always have the same relationships over and over again. And I guess not shamefully so, but I've been that guy who they've had those relationships with before, over and over again. And I've been one who has actually searched out those women, who has actually hunted those women in some ways, whereas they make the perfect victim, or they make the perfect partner, or they make the perfect submissive woman in many ways, because they will love you fully, they will give in fully, they will become all consumed with you. There's a term, I can't remember, it's from The Sopranos, it's called amorpho, crazy love, all consuming, all heart, everything else out the window. But how does a man spot a impact woman? If you look at my screen, I was just looking around on Google, and they have all these videos by women. They all have the same thing. Why narcissists always hunt us? Why do we always end up with them? And you're easy to spot. Number one, for a good predator, you have to know everything about your prey. You have to know what she looks like. What is she into? You know, almost all of these women look alike, and I can't say all of these women on my screen are empaths, but look at them. Some of them look so open and free, and you can just tell from a mile away who they are. When you make eye contact, you can tell by their body language. You can tell who is going to give in to you immediately. And the openness that can draw those people to you, it's not always a bad thing. It's when you have no control over it. And typically, a lot of these women are also highly sensitive people, or as they call it, HSP, and they have those issues as well. So how do you become stronger? Because not just how come you're a predator, but the way that you become stronger is the way that you protect yourself from becoming a victim as well. And one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of these women are energetically weak. And I don't know how many people believe in neo spiritualism or metaphysics or the light body or prana or qigong, meridians and chakras and dantians, but I think what the ancients were talking about was basically the human organ and nervous system. And if you strengthen those things, you become powerful. You can program yourself in ways that you can't do just by reading a book, just by giving yourself an affirmation. Although, if you practice things like yoga, if you practice things like qigong, and you become energetically strong, you become the type of empath who isn't constantly giving their energy away. And the reason why we talk about these energetic things is because one way we can always spot you is because you are always giving your energy away. No matter if you are an empath who's extroverted or introverted, if you're trying to hide, if you put it on that little, I call it the deer defense, because you try to shield yourself, but you do it in such an obvious way. It becomes more like a paper mache type of defense. It's very fragile. It's very superficial. Paper mache or paper mache. It's one of those. I can't remember. I think it's French. And I don't remember anything from French. And I'm not really very much of an arts and crafts person. But anyway, because it's such a weak and obvious defense, anyone who's like a narcissist or who's a predator, who's dominant, who likes submissive women, who likes women who are very open, who are very free, who are very sensitive, highly emotional, then you learn to spot these things. And so how do you get past that? We talk do yoga, take up exercise, um, do Neigong, do Qigong, do these things that will truly strengthen you, that will give you more of a spine in the world, more of a deep-seated confidence and something to rely on. And and you must master mindfulness, and not just the superficial mindfulness of counting one, two, three, four over and over again and focusing on your breath, although those things are very important and can be a part of a great energetic practice. But the type of mindfulness you really need is the type that you can use when you are in a situation where you need to change your behavior, change your reactions. All of these empathic women I know, like the one I was just talking to today, they always go back to the same man. They always have twin flame issues. They date the same guy over and over again, even if he has a different name, the same guy over and over and over again. And the type of mindfulness that you need is to be able to catch yourself making those mistakes and then have the discipline to move yourself out of it. I know personally, real mindfulness has helped me with my anger. It's helped me with my road rage. It's helped me with when I'm in traffic, someone cuts me off and I miss a light, and there's like 8 cars coming, and every 8 cars can like fire you up and make you angry, angrier, angrier, angry again, and you're boiling, and your blood pressure is like at 200, and you're about to have a stroke. I can't believe it. That person did this, and now 8 cars are going by, and I'm never gonna make my turn. I used to watch videos by Shenzhen Yang, I think that's his name, American guy who moved to Japan and became a monk. And he has very good videos, very analytical mind, but also very highly into the meditative traditions. And one thing he teaches is you take those things that would trigger you and you take the positive response that you should do instead and make that energize you, make it give you pleasure, make it give you bliss. So for me, when those 8 cars are coming by, instead of allowing each one of them to trigger me negatively, I instead I become mindful and I say, you know what? I want a better outcome. Each car I'm going to force myself to have a sense of pleasure, you know. Okay, I want to open up, take in the pleasure from this. So for you, the empath, when you deny your attraction and the pull of that narc who you have to go help, who you need to save, who you're drawn to and can't say no to, when you pull away, the pulling away and the pain that comes from that needs to be transmuted to pleasure. I am doing the right thing long term. I am doing this. And one thing that helps you transition in all levels of life where you need to make behavior modifications, cognitive modification, psychological, is you have to create a positive culture around yourself. Most of us don't have the type of support systems where people can tell us what we need. And I've noticed that a lot of empath women definitely don't have that. Your friends are more like, I can't believe you're so dumb. You're with this person. You're making this mistake. You're being used, blah, 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 blah. It's always like negative, negative, negative. Also, another reason why good narcs who are very savvy, good people, good with people. There's a book called The Power of Psychopaths, and it talks about why they get ahead in life, why they're so good, why they can read people, you know. But narcs are not always psychopaths, but we can talk about it in a similar vein. Person's savvy in that way, they know what you're not getting. They know. They might change on you and become a source of toxicity, but in the beginning, they might know how to give you every little thing you need. And as you move in that relationship, as you have your drama, they know how to move you around perfectly and whatnot. They know what you're not getting. And a lot of us don't have those support systems going back to that. So you have to create a culture of change. And that's being culture. Ecology has to change. And one of the best ways to do that is, of course, if you can find people who can have those conversations with you, but you might have to do it a little bit more superficially. You might have to read books that are about change and positivity and gratitude and being stronger and all those things. You might have to listen to podcasts all day. You might have to keep a diary on gratitude. You might have to do the law of attraction. You might need people who you can have those conversations with. You might have to find them online and not in person. But a big significant part of your work, which is a righteous and worthwhile work, will be creating that ecology. And slowly, the parts of you that are exposed and completely open and that are drawn to the wrong people, they begin to become a little bit stronger. More like bamboo or a tree that moves with the wind. I don't suggest that you close up and become hardened. Because I can't think of anything worse. If you're naturally an open person, then the fake defense, the paper mache defense that we talked about earlier, that has no use. That's all you become. And for, I guess, a wrinkle is that actually a dominant man who might be into discipline, who might be into, as my channel says, I spank pretty women. That kind of guy might be good for you if he's a good guy who has those qualities. Because there's no better way to be empowered as a person such as yourself than meeting such a person who is there for you for the right reasons and for the right purposes. But anyway, I rambled on a ton, a ton. Oh, here's a website, guys, for people who might want to do energetic practices that can work. Um, this AYP site, I think they have like free lessons, and it's like a Kundalini site. And for me, Kundalini is not about the mythology that people talk about, the serpent in your spine, and then the chakras open up. Um, chakras to me are your organs. They are your nerve organ connections. It's the nervous system. It's the PNS. It's the ENS. It's the CNS, and it is citing that to the level that you have these neurochemical changes, and then you have all of the negative or positive effects that people have and associate with Kundalini. So it is a real phenomenon for how we look at it differently. And for you as an empath, doing such practices can make you stronger. And maybe looking into lower Dantian breathing is a very easy practice, embryonic breathing. And are Dantians real? Are chakras real? Well, maybe, maybe not. But guess what is real? Human intestine system has more neurons than any other part of the body, second to the brain. And the gut-brain connection is a real phenomenon. It's the seat of emotion and feeling, which are real things that have true physiological basis to them. And so when we talk about becoming stronger, becoming energetically stronger, as well as you're doing all these other things in your life, making yourself not so open to someone else's pull on you energetically. But yeah, that's what I have for you today. I doubt I'll make any other type of videos like this, but hopefully it benefits someone, although I think it's going to be a pretty bad video where I basically rambled on. But if you enjoyed it or did not enjoy it, leave a comment. Hopefully you will subscribe and see the things that we talk about later. Have a good day.